Hi and welcome to the Belfry. We are on the beautiful Brabazon golf course today. This is the 6th hole. My name is Chris Ryan, and in this video we're going to show you how to control the ball flight and flight it a little bit lower for those situations where you need to alter the trajectory. Just before we get into the video, in the corner of the screen you should have the details for my social media. So that's Facebook, that's Twitter, and that's Instagram. As I say, the details are in the corner, so if you don't already, then please go ahead and follow me on those. So the reason I'm doing this video is because this week is British Open week. So they are going to be facing tough conditions at Troon. They're going to need to flight the ball certainly lower when it's into the wind, and possibly even higher when it's maybe downwind, and they need to stop the ball a little bit quicker. But we're going to focus in this video a little bit more on controlling the ball flight in terms of lowering it. So this is going to be very, very useful to you if you play in conditions where it's maybe windy, or potentially if you just need maybe a little bit of a go-to shot. We do see a lot of the golfers hitting low tee shots with an iron, maybe as their sort of safe go-to shot. So I've got a 4-iron here, and I'm going to sort of pretend, if you like, that we've got a situation where I'm into the wind and I want to flight that ball a little bit lower. So there's a few things that we need to understand, and then we can maybe make our sort of technique sit around those ideas, and that's going to help us do exactly what we want to do. So let's just go through exactly what's going to control the height that the ball goes. So the first thing is the launch angle. The angle at which that ball takes off at is definitely going to control, or certainly be part of, how high that ball goes. The second thing is the spin. The more spin the ball has, the higher the ball's going to go. And the last thing is the speed. The more speed that golf ball has, it's going to rise for a longer period of time. So if I hit the ball harder, it's going to have an upward sort of path, if you like, for longer. So really the things we're trying to control are the launch angle, the spin, and the speed. So I've taken a 4-iron here, and what we really want to control is the dynamic loft on the golf club. So the dynamic loft is the loft that I present to the ball at impact, which is actually different to the loft that's on the golf club made by, in this case, TaylorMade. So the way that we want to try and control the dynamic loft is by making sure that we return to impact with the handle forward of the club head. If the handle is forward of the club head, effectively I'm de-lofting the golf club, provided that the club face stays pretty square to my intended target line. So we can do a lot of this at setup. So the first thing I would like you to do is think about your ball position. So I'm going to certainly, from my maybe normal starting position, which would maybe just sort of forward of centre, I'm going to move this ball actually probably more just back of centre. So what this is doing, provided I leave my hands in the same position as they would normally, I've now created a setup where I've got a lot more lean forward of the club shaft. Now that doesn't automatically mean that I'm going to return there, but it certainly gives me a greater chance. So what I've done is I've moved the ball back, and I've left my hands sort of over the inside of my lead thigh, and as you can see, that's put a significant amount of lean forward in that club shaft. Now what this is going to do is give me a greater chance of returning there at impact. So hopefully that's going to control the dynamic loft of the golf club. The second thing we spoke about was the spin. Now the spin comes from many, many different things. You know, we can go into the type of golf ball that you're using, the type of grooves, but we're not going to go in that in depth. What we're going to talk about is the speed of your swing and how that relates to spin. It doesn't matter what golf club I'm using. The harder I hit this golf ball, the more spin it will have. Every single golf shot you have will have backspin, apart from maybe a putt. So what we're going to talk about here is actually just reducing the speed of your swing a little bit, because that's going to reduce the spin that you impart on the golf ball. The fact that we're going to present a lower lofty club should mean that we start to impart less spin. But if we can actually make a golf swing which is maybe a little bit slower, that's also going to reduce the amount of spin that we put on the golf ball. The third thing we looked at was the speed of the golf ball. Now, the second point there was just to make a slightly slower swing speed, as well as reducing the spin. This will also give the ball less speed off the club face. If the ball's got less speed off the club face, as we said at the start, it will rise for a shorter period of time. And that's going to help that ball keep an overall lower trajectory, a much sort of lower apex point, if you like, and that's going to give that ball a lot more rollout. So really we've got three things there we're doing. Well, two things. It's achieving three things, if you like. We're moving the ball back at setup. We are making a slower swing, and that's going to reduce the spin, it's going to reduce the height, and that's going to give us that lower ball flight. Now there are a couple of other things that we need to note here. If I'm going to move the ball further back in my stance, which we said we are, there is a greater chance of the club path moving to the right of my target. The club path will certainly be more right than what your standard shot is. So what I'm going to do on this particular shot here is I'm just going to tweak my alignment. So I'm going to aim slightly left of my target, because I realise that when that ball is back in my stance, even though I'd maybe look like I'm aiming a little left, because the club path is more right, because I'm hitting the ball earlier in the arc, my club will actually be pretty much tracking up the middle of that fairway, and that's really where I want this ball to go. So you will find, hopefully, that when you try these lower shots, you will probably hit slight push shots, or you might hit slight draw shots, but that's actually pretty good. That's going to help us keep that ball flight low. So the last thing to note, I always want you to focus on your follow through, and I want you to feel as if your follow through is a little bit shorter than it would be normally. That's certainly going to help us control the trajectory. And last thing, I want you to stay very centered over the golf ball. So because we have the ball back and we have a relatively low lofted club, there is a temptation to move back this way, stay back, and that's going to get that ball more airborne. And that's almost like an instinctive move to get that ball in the air. We want to feel like we stay on top of this golf ball, feel as if we turn the handle forwards, trap the ball between the golf club and the ground, and squeeze that ball out nice and low. All right, that's the theory. Let me go ahead and hit one. So say this is a 6th hole here on the Brabazon. There's a bunker out there. So this club is actually perfect because I can take it right at that bunker and it should finish just short of it. So I've got my ball back. I'm going to make a slightly slower swing and see if we can control that flight. Okay, and that's absolutely perfect. That didn't really go much above the height of the trees, but that's absolutely perfect. That's a nice low shot. Plenty of rollout on that ball, and that is a shot which the guys will definitely need to use this week if they are to win the Claret Jug. Right, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully that helped. Hopefully it's something you can take to the practice area and then take onto the course. And if you find yourself in a situation where you need it, you need to have the confidence to play it. So make sure you practice it first. Thank you for watching. Usual stuff down below. There's a like button, there's a comments box. So please use those as you would wish. And last thing, if you haven't done already, then please subscribe to my channel. Loads more content on there. And most importantly, it's absolutely free. So just click the link in the description down below and that'll take you to a page where you can subscribe. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you again next time.